Great. Welcome, everyone. We're super excited that you guys join us tonight for our NFT Noir. And you guys are in for an awesome treat tonight as we are celebrating Black History Month. This is a little different as we had our exhibition called The Introspective Noir, featuring two amazing artists, one from South Florida and one from New York. And we just wanted to do something different where, NFTs is like taking over the art space and over the world. So we wanted to do our closeout event as an NFT Noir conversation, part of our Arts Innovation Talk series, NFT Noir, the future of art and utility. I am Eveline, Pierre. You're the executive director of the Haitian Heritage Museum in Miami, Florida. We've been around for 18 years. We're going to actually turn 18. We're actually officially legal come March the 3rd, which is in a couple of days, right? And we wanted to do something really innovative because, again, innovative arts innovation talk, arts IT, is pretty much having conversations that are important to our community and the Haitian American community, and of course the community at large in South Florida. So like I was telling you guys are in for an amazing treat. We have some great industry leaders. We have an amazing artist, and hopefully one of the other artists will chime in as we go along. But we're going to go ahead and start just to respect everybody's time who is on the line with us. So this past year, a new trend has called NFTs has taken the art space by storm. People are paying thousands and even millions of dollars for them. NFTs have even made their way into the world of real estate. So without further ado, we're going to start. And the first person I want all of the panelists to actually go ahead and introduce themselves, not all at the same time, but we're going to start with Pierre. If you can tell us a little bit about who you are and who are you?
What's going on, everyone? Good evening. So my name is Pierre G. Baptiste. 32 years old, born out of Brooklyn, New York City. Haitian descent. Both my parents are Haitian. Visual artist. I took artistry very serious in about 2015. That was the year my mom passed away. It was like the best way for me to cope with what I was going on, what I was dealing with, how I was feeling. But I wouldn't say 2015 is the year I became an artist. I was always an artist since a kid, but 2015 was the year I started taking it more serious. And ever since then, I've never stopped. And I've did some pretty cool things within the art industry. Just in 2020, I had a pretty cool breakout year. I did a cool collaboration with this brand out of New York City called TNYC. Also, another cool thing I did recently, the end of 2021, I got to showcase my first show. I got to showcase Art Basel for the first time with Haitian Heritage Museum just this December. Amazing experience. Can't wait for the next one. And I guess I would describe myself more of a contemporary visual artist. What I paint is more so like the Black story, but from my perspective. As you can see, like the paintings like behind Eveline right now, it's a Wonder Woman, but it's a Wonder Woman with a different physical attribute. She's Black, and it's on a very popular Black magazine, Ebony, as well. We're talking about controversial topics as well. Right now, if you can see it, I can't even see the words completely all the way, but
you won't be able to see.
Yes, but that's the type of painting that's the type of painter that I am. I paint just the Black perspective, but from my perspective, like say stuff that I've seen growing up, stuff that I've experienced, and just how I feel on a day-to-day basis.
All righty. Awesome. Well, we want to welcome you to the panel. And now we would like to introduce or have her introduce herself, Brenda Gentry, crypto mom.
Thank you so much, Eve. And thank you, Pierre, for your introduction. That was pretty cool. I go by Crypto Mom, but I'm Brenda Gentry. So the name came about because my adult children, I would say my 24-year-old and my 19-year-old got into crypto, and they wanted me to get involved so much because they thought I was working too many hours in the bank. And I've been in banking and mortgage and real estate and the whole 9 yards for as long as they know they were, since they were little. So getting into crypto wasn't something I planned, because I sent my daughter off to college and she went to study computer science and she didn't like it over there. And she came home and told me, Mom, I just found out about blockchain technology. I'm going to get involved, and maybe you should think about it because they may take your job very soon with the technology. She said the technology is very disruptive. You may not even have a job in 20 years. And I say, oh my God, I need to start looking into it. To cut a long story short, I started looking at, but I buy Bitcoin. As a banker, we do trainings to warn us about money laundering, illicit activity. So I was like, that's not for me. Fast forward 2020, and the market was the way it is, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's when I took my plunge and I started. I learned about crypto, but when I got in, back then they only had OpenSea, and I was wondering why one marketplace, or actually towards the end of the year they had all, and I was interested. I was like, this NFT thing is gonna boom and nobody is even ready for it. So I wanted to get myself ready, and I started, my daughter and both my daughters, we paid someone to help us figure out how we can build our own marketplace. Anyways, we didn't do that on time. Next thing we know, CryptoPunks and Bored Apes and else was blown. And my daughter was a PR agent for one of the blockchain companies, and we did the drop. The first celebrity drop was for Mick Jagger's music NFT drop, and from then on, so we worked as a team. From then on, she began asking me to help her with her projects, and eventually we became advisors. I'm born and raised in Kenya, and I don't know if there's anything else I need to say apart from that.
That's great. What a great introduction. I love it. I think the conversation is going to be great because the marketplace is very significant and unique for people of color, people from the Caribbean, even Africa. So that's really interesting, the marketplace. All right. Last but not least, Zat. Did I say that right?
Saif.
Okay, good. From Lab 22C. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here to share this space with Pierre and Crypto Mom. Crypto Mom is exceptional. Even my own son, Nabil, who goes by Nabs, has a connection through the metaverse to Crypto Mom. And not only is she a mother to her own children, but she's really brought that energy as a mother and someone and good vibes to lots of young people across the Twitterverse. And so I have to give her a little bit of a special shout out.
Nice.
And it shows how we're all bonded. I mean, we know this idea of human connection matters. So my name is Saif. I'm a Miami native, which means that I was born in the Caribbean, made in the 305. So I'm from Guyana.
Wow.
And so I feel a strong kinship to my Haitian brothers and sisters. I grew up here in Miami amidst the diaspora of so many beautiful cultures and people, including my Haitian brothers and sisters, and enjoy. I'm a function and product of those experiences. But for the purposes of this evening, right now I'm the founder of a company called Lab 22C, and I've had a career here in South Florida as a founder, as a lawyer, as an investor, as a leader in the nonprofit space, spent some time as well in higher ed at the public research university here in Miami called FIU. And then the last year plus, I served as the mayor of Miami's senior advisor for innovation and technology. And I like to say, kind of like Crypto Mom in a different way, but similar way. I actually got into crypto because of my kids, Ronnie and Nabil. So my son, Ronnie, and my kids actually did a computer science boot camp 7 years ago in 2015. Wow. And from that experience, they participated in a Capture the Flag digital exercise, and they won some Dogecoin. And then that sparked their interest. This was in 2015. Actually, they won a lot of Dogecoin.
Whoa! So they're like millionaire Doge.
Yeah. So they're Dogenaires, you know.
Which means
maybe they'll pay for college themselves. My wife and I will. But that's with the Web3. But in any event, we followed our children's passion around crypto, around Web3. And as we all know, for those of us that are parents, we actually got into it as a function of supporting our kids. If they were passionate about dance or music or art, then we would have supported them in that. And for us, my wife is also from the Caribbean. Our Caribbean heritage really matters a lot to us. The community that we're a part of really matters a lot to us. And so I now have the joy in the company that I started in helping to support founders, builders, dreamers, really take their projects and launch them to the moon. So that's the reason why the Lab 22C, if you see the screen there, and I've had experience in working with venture-backed companies, working with private equity, and we're hyper-focused on closing the divide in so many ways. And especially when we think about the opportunity for creators like Pierre, this has to be their moment. In Web3, they talk about WAGMI, which is a common hashtag, WAGMI. And the WAGMI, the W, it means for we're all going to make it. And, we have to fight every day that the we looks like those of us that are in this Zoom room and our friends that are looking on at the Haitian Museum. So that's what's got me passionate. How do we put the W back in WAGMI? And as we say, I know my friends who speak Creole will say, allons-y, how do we actually do this, onwards?
Make it happen. Let's go.
We got to go.
Yeah. So that's so awesome because when we started learning about crypto, it's kind of like the same thing, but we're like in the space, and it's like you can't help but being in South Florida. I just think telepathically we all connect, and the energy and the force. So I thank you so much, Zed, for setting up that stage, because I think like I said in the earlier recording, I'm like, we're always the last one to the party. And we can't have that anymore. We need to be the first ones at the party, and we have to have early adapters, early innovators, so we can, get a piece of the crypto pie or the blockchain or whatever, but I think it's important. So thank you all for doing such an amazing job, letting people know about who you are. Even though I thought, reading the resumes and the bios would be great, but it's always much more better received when people are able to talk about themselves. That's something that you can do much better than I can, right? So we're going to dive right into the conversation. And I guess the first question is posed to everybody. What exactly is an NFT? Go ahead, Zed. Go ahead. You can start it off.
I want to go fast so I can get it out of the way. And let the guys go.
Go ahead.
And by the way, Saif, I don't know, nobody knows that your son Nabil is 13 years old. I don't think anyone here knows, but he is like an ambassador for crypto, and he can school you about NFTs better than I actually can.
Wow.
No, Crypto Mom.
And he hosted the event at Art Basel at the stadium last year.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Very awesome. Well spoken too. I have to give you that. Yeah.
Well, Caribbean parents, they don't play.
Yeah, you do just a shoulder off of that.
Yeah, so I have to give you that too. So, so in my from what I know, an NFT it's a unique digital asset that is stored on the blockchain. To me, unique means, and it can take any form. Right now, we're looking at it in terms of, art, but it can be music, it can be real estate. I mean, it will be real estate here very shortly, because obviously people have already started tapping into it, and it's going to disrupt the music scene. Token is one that you can exchange one-to-one. If I give you $1, you give me $1. A non-fungible one, in that case, on the other hand, if you give me a house, if I give you my, you're gonna give me your house back. So one of Saif's friends, I think my internet's tripping a little bit. One of Saif's friends, Jeff, always says the best way to explain it to anybody who's a noob is it's like a unique title. It's your title deed. It's like your vehicle has a VIN number that's unique to you. You have your social security number that's unique to you. That's exactly what you can explain a non-fungible token to be.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you want to add anything onto that?
I mean, to piggyback off of Crypto Mom, basically, when I first was introduced to NFTs, it was more surface leveled. I was introduced to it. It was more so it's art. And when I started learning about it, educating myself about it, it was so much more than art, like you said, it was music, real estate. And at one point, I knew it was more than that, but I only seen it surface level, like art, like examples like the Bored Yacht Apes, right? But then it was like certain like celebrities that was taking it to the next level, like the infamous Tory Lanez. He dropped the album through NFT, the NFT album, and he made so much money from it. And it was shocking to me because I was like, yo, this is really cool. This guy dropped an album on Web3. He made money out of it. And only the people who purchased this have access to it. And if they don't want to sell it, they can resell it and he will still get a piece out of it. That's what was very interesting to me, because as an artist, usually when I sell a piece, a physical piece, that's the only time I'm going to see money. Like if an auction house buys a piece from me, let's say someone buys a piece from me for about $5,000, they can take it to some auction house and sell it for like 10, 15, and I will get a percentage of that. So that was like one of the main things that stood out to me, the NFT, that wanted me to get into it as soon as possible.
Awesome. Okay. Zach, do you want to chime in on that?
No, I think I think that Crypto Mom and Pierre gave such great descriptions about NFTs, and I think it frames for us the conversation, Eve, that I know that you really want to get to, which is hopefully how do we bridge opportunities for more Black and Brown creators and communities into this world of NFTs and crypto.
All righty, I guess you read my mind. So do you see it as the new frontier, NFTs for art and the artist, or is it just a hype up bubble? So is it more like, my friend, or is it like fear of missing out? Is it like a FOMO? Is it a fad? What do you guys think?
So I'll just go ahead and say that this is a moment that, particularly for Black and Brown creators that have not had the opportunities with the proportionality that they deserve to be able to display their art, recuperate as much economic value as possible from their beautiful creations. I mean, I'm so excited when I hear Pierre say that he was able to display at Art Basel this past year. But quite frankly, I think that speaks to why shouldn't an artist like Pierre have had opportunities a million times over to have been displaying at Art Basel, going back a decade. I mean, look how beautiful his art. I mean, I see that and it literally jumps through the screen to me. And it, you know, when my kids look at artwork like that, they see themselves. When my daughter looks at that image behind you, Eve, she sees something. She sees an image that while our family is brown and not black, you know, we see a sense of commonality of spirit there as far as experiences. And so I think that when we think about crypto, particularly NFTs, there are more brown and black Americans that have crypto wallets than there are brown and black Americans that have bank accounts. Right.
Wow.
And this is something that Crypto Mom talks a lot about in some of the Twitter spaces that she hosts. And it's not to knock the traditional banking system, but it shows that if this is really going to be a rocket ship of opportunity, it's not about fear of missing out. It's about creating more opportunities for people within our communities to be able to access what's being built here. It also means that we have to take it upon ourselves to educate more of our people. We have to, in our churches, in our mosques, in our community centers, when we're out talking to our family and our friends in the marketplace, we have to find ways to help educate and bring them in, because in the Web3 world, they actually don't like the term FOMO. They say, instead of FOMO, think about JOMO. JOMO is the joy of missing out. So maybe you didn't.
Ooh, I love it.
You know, maybe you didn't get in on an opportunity, and that's okay, because you know after you know there's a I know there's a Haitian proverb, and I won't try and say it in Creole, but it says after the mountains, more mountains, right?
Yes.
And so see, I got some knowledge there, right? I know, but the point is like, so JOMO is like that. So after the mountains, more mountains.
Yes, yes, because I really believe we're at the cusp of, you know, of integration. We're at the cusp of early adaptation. So I really believe, and this is why it was so important. I was like, you know what, instead of doing something traditional, do the closeout event, but doing something that is unique and innovative, I think it will help us as a community do things differently, because you don't have to be in a physical space. You can be in a digital space, you know, and that's, you know, like the metaverse space. And I think, you know, with what happened with COVID and everything, it kind of like forced us to be able to be in a digital space and still get work done. And I think having to have creatives and being like a museum and having like over 300 pieces that are just in storage, now we're looking at, you know, creating a marketplace and putting the work out. So I agree with you 100%. There's not fear of missing out. It's like the joy of missing out. So that was great. Anybody else wants to tackle that? Like, it's not a fad, it's a FOMO. Go ahead, Pierre.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's a fad at all. I've seen there's conversations on Twitter, social media, people saying that it's gonna die out. It's not gonna die out at all. It's only gonna keep getting bigger and bigger. So like you said, the Haitian proverb, after more mountains, you see mountains, more mountains. Like, it's not gonna die out at all. There's so much artists who are now getting into the NFT market space, and there's like so much different other platforms. At first, the most popular platform was OpenSea. Now they have other platforms such as Solana as well, where they're like, I know that's the one that I'm using actually right now. I haven't dropped my NFT just yet, but because I'm preparing myself, I'm preparing myself to create new things right now. But like, there's platforms like Solana who support artists that do one-of-one art, you know, where they're not usually like, doesn't follow the same theme as like the board yacht apes, because, you know, usually when people think of NFTs, they think about it's an image that's the same image but just have a different hairstyle, different outfit this time, you know. So it's here to stay, and it's such a big space. You can do almost anything with it. That's why it's not a fad at all. It's going to just continue. There's going to be new trends. It's just going to be new trends constantly all the time with it. You know, there might be one thing that die out in the NFT market space, but that doesn't mean that it's completely over.
Love it, love it. Crypto Mom, do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that because creators have found a new way to monetize their art. So if you, as creative as they are, and they know that they can make money on secondary and not just on primary, then this is not a fad, because before you were just making money as a creator on primary. Now you're making money on secondary. And if someone opens out a new door or a new avenue for me to make money more than what I was doing before, then obviously people are going to take advantage of that. So artists who have been in Africa who couldn't sell, I know a lot of people in my country that the artists their art hasn't been selling for years, and suddenly their art is selling for 0.2 or 3. To them, that's a lot of money. That's your monthly, it is their monthly paycheck. And actually you can pay a lot with just a little bit. What we think is little here, but to them it's their monthly, it's a substantial amount. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful, because I think, you know, working with artists, one of the main things when we started the Haitian Heritage Museum, we really wanted to give the artists a chance, like Haitian artists, because again, you know, being here in Art Basel, you know, we were part of the Art Basel Junior Host Committee, so we've seen everything. We went to Switzerland to go be a part of that, and year in and year out, it was like, wow, you know, all the major collectors come out, and then people don't know about Caribbean or Haitian art. So that's when we were like, well, we have to do contemporary art, because that's what people are looking for during that time. And now to see how, you know, this exhibition that we, you know, we're closing it down with Pierre and Addonis, it was one of the most, I guess, one of the most well-received work. And it was really interesting because we took a very different approach of showcasing, because we normally not do anything too outside of the box, you know, but this was very outside of the box. And we had people travel from the Northeast. We had people travel from all different places. If you can, once you join in, can you just go ahead and mute yourself? People traveled all over, like the Northeast, New York, Chicago, Boston, you know, Canada, came to see the exhibition. I was really taken aback by it, because again, this was something that was very unique and different to the Black and Brown community. So without further ado, we're gonna move right along with the next question. I think you guys kind of did the segue in what you guys were saying. So how is an NFT created? I know Pierre mentioned that, you know, you can sell it from the front end, but then you can continue getting, you know, funds from it, you know, on the secondary or the third area or the fourth area. So how is an NFT created, and how does that fit into the whole blockchain? And if anybody wants to tackle that, please go ahead. How is NFT created? And do you have to be a digital artist or a digital creator to be a part of this whole space?
Eve, I'd like to jump in and actually give a non-technical answer to that question.
Okay.
Because the short answer would be, you know, we'd have to talk about like how it is that you go on the blockchain and you create a smart contract and a bunch of other stuff that might not be as relevant to the listeners for the museum. I think what matters a lot more than that, because you can find a technical partner that can help you with that. And I also want to say there's a lot of really great Web3 engineers that are really willing to loan their time and energy and effort, particularly to getting more Black and Brown creators into the NFT world. So the question I really want to answer is, what matters almost even more than the technical piece is for an NFT project creator to develop something that's called a roadmap, right? Which is essentially a framework that says, oh, if we're going to release this NFT project, this is what the project is about. This is, if you own this NFT, here's the value that you're going to get. Here are the pieces of community that you're going to be able to participate in. Maybe there's going to be a twice per annum event. There might be a physical art show that you get to go to. There might be a picnic. There might be a service project. There might be some other physical artifacts you get. You might get a hoodie. You might get a lapel pin. So I think it's really important, especially for Black and Brown creators and really anybody who's building an NFT project, to think about that roadmap, because a roadmap ultimately comes back to building a sense of community. And, you know, I've gotten to meet the team that's behind one of the most successful NFT projects. They're actually spending more time here in Miami. They're called the Doodles, and everybody knows the Doodles. Their artwork is really beautiful, and the team behind it, they're a really, really great group of folks. And for them, they spent a long time. I mean, now they're wildly successful. The Doodles are worth, you know, I think the floor in a Doodle is like almost 11 Ethereum, which would be close to $30,000. But the team behind the Doodles, they didn't do it to make a lot of money. They did it because they believed in the art, they believed in creating a sense of community, and they built it from a place of joy. And so I think the most important part of any NFT project that anyone is envisioning is, first of all, do it in community, find others that you can collaborate with. If you're technical, find an artist. If you're a storyteller, find an engineer. If maybe you've got a good hype person that can tell the story and get the word out there. And I know myself and Crypto Mom, we'll lean in on anything. We'll tell the story for any and everybody. She's got much more knowledge than I do, but I'm happy to lend whatever platform I have. Awesome. But I think that that's the most important part of an NFT project, right? Is that roadmap. And really, at the end of the day, it comes down to what we know matters. You know, when I would go with my grandma back in Guyana, why did she go to a certain vendor to buy her fish? Because that fish vendor gave her a sense of community. It wasn't necessarily that vendor had fish that was cheaper, but, you know, that vendor would ask her, you know, how are her grandchildren? How is her farm? All of those types of things. And I think that those human principles in this day and age of Web3, it matters just as much.
Wow, that's a really powerful point, because again, it really takes us back, even though we're so innovative, we're so into technology. But when, you know, back in the day, everything started off with a community, right? Yeah. It was the community, you know, it was a tribe. Well, who's your tribe? We're back to that again, but it's funny that we're in the innovative space and we're going through technology, but at the end of the day, who's the community? And that's why I think having these conversations are so important, because we want to bring our Black, Brown, our Caribbean community, because again, if they don't understand things, they don't want to be a part of it. But it's like, it's so important to make it non-intrusive. It's really non-intrusive. I think it's so much cool. It's so much fun, but that's just me because I love art. But I believe that it gives people a sense of community when organizations like the Haitian Heritage Museum puts this platform out there so people can come in. It's kind of like, you know, you want to go to your neighbor's house, you know, and you want to have a sleepover or a play date, right, with your children. You want to learn who the neighbor is and who your child is going to play with. And I think, you know, having this non-technical conversation, it's important, because now it's like a very low point of entry. I really believe that. Do anybody else want to say anything about that question, which was like, how is NFT created? But I think Sat said like, hey, you know what, let's not talk about the technicals, but let's talk about community. Yeah, the community is important. But I do want to ask, who's leading the space though? Like, I know Pierre talked about Solano and other marketplace people. For creators, Black, Brown creators, for like a low point of entry, what would be, who would be that space, or who's that leader that's in that space that could, you know, get your feet wet if you don't know so much about NFTs? And who would be that person or that entity or that group? Or, you know, I know everybody has to be on Twitter at some point, but to find your community and your tribe. But who is that that marketplace that you would suggest?
I'll answer that. So in terms of who, I think now that the NFTs are almost mainstream. Coinbase just launched their NFT platform. So what I would say is anybody that has been successful in the space, and not even successful, someone that has actually come into this space and created art like Pierre would be able to help other people that he can onboard. In other words, he can onboard somebody. It doesn't have to be someone who's been, like Saif says, okay, the doodles have been successful, but maybe they may not have as much time to to explain the process to somebody else. They can do it on one-on-one. And that's why Twitter Spaces, a lot of people don't really understand how important network effects are. Network effects in crypto, in NFTs, it's a make it or break it. You are either on TikTok, you're either on Instagram, you're either on Twitter, but you need, and Discord, number one, Discord. You need network effect. You need to build community. You need to tell people about why is this project of yours so important than the rest. Marketplaces right now, the dominating one is OpenSea, but I've seen so many people that are finding, we know there was a hack last week, a phishing hack. It affected some people, and noobs or anybody new to NFTs that didn't know anything about, the links to click. They probably clicked that link and, they didn't know what's the right thing or what's not the right thing to do. I personally, I would suggest they can reach out to, Twitter Spaces, reach out to faces that look like you or don't look like you, but mostly I relate to people that look like me. And a lot of people that are actually coming to me are like, oh, she's a mom and she got kids my age. Okay, I want to talk to her because she understands me. You know what I'm saying? If I see someone that is doing it or making it and looks just like me, I'm gonna go to them first. Like, explain to me how you did it, and then I can figure out from somebody else. But I feel like somebody that is representing me and my culture, where I come from, speaks louder than anybody that doesn't.
Agree.
That's right on point. I love it because, again, as community, we gravitate to people who look like us. And I think as someone who's like trying to learn about the space as well, I just kind of went online. I saw the little Haitian flag from, one of the other potential speakers. And I was like, okay, let me just follow, see what he's doing, who he's following. And I think, reference to art, because that's like my area, Sotheby's, they have been doing really amazing things in reference to NFTs. And, as the Haitian Heritage Museum, as, a Caribbean person, I just feel like, okay, if they can do that with, all the different types of art that they do, why can't we do that for our Black, brown sisters? I think that's really, really important. So you talked about OpenSea, you talked about, getting on the Discord, you talked about Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those places are really important, and I know I did a workshop, because I was like, I need to learn. And the gentleman was like, you need to get into the Twitter Spaces. You have to get into Twitter Spaces. And, of course, naturally you go into the Twitter Space and then the first person you see is like Gary V. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I'm there yet.
And,
but I love how he just went into that space and he just capitalized. When I say capitalized, he took over and he really put in things that Seth was saying, like, okay, you can, add on, you can get like, create the community. Then now you have items in there, like a hoodie, or people can go, have tickets or whatever. And I like how it's building the utility of the NFT. And it's not just, okay, it's just an NFT, I'm going to sell whatever. But now it's part of like everyday life that you can actually integrate other things into it, which I really love, because before I just thought like, oh, it's kind of bland. It's just an NFT. Okay, you do your paper, you send it off, and then you put it in a blockchain and it does this. But I love the fact that it's doing a lot more utility, because I think Zed's talked about his son had, they paid his son in Dogecoin. I'm like, what? Now that the utility is so important, I think, with all of these items, because I think that's what's going to keep the token in the space and keep the life of the token, because if it has a utility, now it makes sense. It's not just a meme token or meme coin
But
or whatever.
one thing I want to add to that, because I want to make it easy for our friends that are listening in.
Okay.
If you have a simple squad of friends that are interested in the NFT space, that are doing stuff in crypto, create a WhatsApp group and start to add more people that you know that are interested. I'm part of a couple of different communities that literally just live on WhatsApp groups. And I have some female friends in Miami that have created a Women in Web3
Hello?
I think it froze for a minute.
Yeah. Oh. The last thing I heard, are you there? I heard women in Web3. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna wait for we're gonna go on to the next person. Yeah, I'm gonna go on to the next person. I think the community is very big. Pierre, what do you think in reference to community? I know you're just getting into the space. What community have you created? Is it just the community that you have on Instagram? I'm not sure if you're on TikTok. How are you bringing your community?
I'm not on TikTok yet. I should. I should
I'm
get
not
on
on
TikTok.
either. Too much, but
It's
I'm
like
not on
I'm not
TikTok.
in the front. Like getting into these social media platforms, it's so I just downloaded one, so it's kind of hard to just jump into a new one right away.
Got it.
But when it comes to building community, that's one thing. I do have a friend of mine who's helping me with building my NFTs right now. This is why I haven't launched them yet, but I'm very versed and very knowledgeable about it, and I'm creating new NFTs daily. I just haven't dropped them yet because I'm trying to build something, try to build a roadmap to it.
That's it. The roadmap.
The roadmap. Yes.
Yes. So when it comes to community, that's one thing I know for sure is to the community. It's where you will begin winning when it comes to dropping NFTs. Like I said, I have a friend who works with me, and he just recently retired working with Gary V as well. And he retired because he's doing good in the NFT cryptocurrency world. He doesn't need a regular job anymore. So with that being said, when it comes to community NFTs, the community is the number one thing that's important for you to strive in this space when it comes to the Web3 world. Because like I say, if you don't have any community and you're just dropping NFTs, it's just going to look like, oh, this person is this artist is dropping an image, you know? And when it comes to NFT, like when you have your NFT, when you have a community NFT, you can communicate so much things to them. Like what Saif said, I can say, hey, if I'm dropping this NFT, but once you get this NFT, you have access to the original painting. You have access to the original painting, or you have access to purchase a hoodie that's specifically for these NFT holders. Or like something like even example, like we have big brands who are now getting into NFT spaces like Adidas and Nike, you know. I know Adidas haven't done nothing big yet, but they're in the space now. But I'm pretty sure when they start dropping NFTs, it's gonna be, hey, if you hold this NFT, you have access to these sneakers for free, you know? So like I say, like community is everything when it comes to the NFT space. If without community, you won't strive.
No, that's great. I think community is a big deal. And I think when I took that workshop, the gentleman, he kept pushing it like, you have to have the community. So I went and I looked at the Discord, and I was like, okay. And he's like, well, you go in and you start commenting, or you just start, liking or whatever. And I was like, wow, but like, that's like a full-time job.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is a full-time job.
It is.
And I was like, I don't know if I have that time. So that would be something for an intern to do. But I think it's important that, and then I got into one of the Discord with Gary V. I was like, oh my God, and they accepted me, whatever. And I'm getting these texts. And I'm like, okay, this is like overtaking my text here. But I think like, the roadmap is so important, because I read some articles about some young girls, I think they were 13, and then she just wanted to create an NFT about Black women with elongated neck. And then
Yeah.
she made, I was like, oh my God. So then, you know, then my mind started going like, wow, you know, we have the Haitian culture. You know, I think it would be great if we can like create some NFTs about what we have, our collection, and make it more fun and, you know, adapt early. And I think we will have a market for that, because a community for that, because people want to hear and see something positive about the island of Haiti. So that was great. I think Zet is back. I don't know, do you have anything that you would like to say in reference to that, or should we move on?
No, I had a little bit of a computer glitch, so
okay.
let's keep moving.
You like disappeared into the ethers. I was like, what happened to him?
I was gone. I'm back.
He's doing he had some Star Trek things here going on. Okay, great. Well, the conversation is going so well. We only have like 15 minutes. I can't believe that. I think we do have some questions from the audience, but I wanted to tackle the fourth question was like, now as a museum, our collection are physical assets that are exhibited in our space. How is the NFT changing the dynamic for cultural organizations like museums and galleries when showcasing work? What happens with the original pieces? I think that's really important. I think a lot of the audience wants to know about that, because I think people don't understand the concept. Okay, the physical piece is here, but then it's kind of like you can sell it, a piece of it, a piece of it, a piece of it. Can somebody like talk a little bit about that? Anyone?
So with this space, we think, so there's emergence of, you know, digital galleries. I don't know if you've seen on Cyber that displays NFTs in a cool VR setting. So so I expect to see more of that, you know, physical museums that have no use so the art shows like Art Basel, South by Southwest, you know, they're proving that NFTs are, you know, they're great physical assets, and original pieces are still important, but you can actually have them delivered to collectors in a way that it's additional utility. It's just an NFT being proof. It's being proof of ownership. So
authenticity.
Authenticity.
Okay, good. No, I think that's important, because people can't wrap around it. The question that I wanted to ask too was this is about the art. Traditionally, it comes to art. Beauty is often been in the eye of the beholder, thus making it its value, you know, just as subjective. Is the NFT rewriting the script? Where's the value? Is it fine art, utility, or both? Because I know when you look at the NFTs, they're very animated. And, you know, I remember the first time we did a very contemporary show for Art Basel, and it was with ShamWow. And it was mixed media. And then, you know, at that time, we had a very strong following of Haitians who were from Haiti. Now it's changed, you know. And then I remember the people would walk in, it was like, this is not Haitian art. So with NFTs, it's like really, the creators are really pushing the envelope in reference to innovation and what you're looking at. So do you think that has changed, or is it more the art, the utility, or is it both?
I think it's both.
Okay, and why do you say that?
Because it's like so much mixed review, like things about it. So the reason why I say I think it's both, because like you said, art is subjective, you know? It's very subjective, and like I'm saying, I'm just talking from my personal standpoint, right? Like in my personal circle of friends, I have friends who do not care about art, you know, who don't care about it, who could look at a Picasso and say, yo, I could draw that, you know? Or they look at a Basquiat and say, ew, what is that, you know? But they see like an animation and they say, oh my gosh, I love this. It's pretty cool, you know? So like you said, it's subjective, and I see that, like I'm saying, from my standpoint, NFTs are bringing people closer together in a way. Like some people would never didn't care one lick about art, is starting to care about it more so now, because they say, hey, I could make some money out of it. And I'm not saying that's the only motive, but you know, it's a motive that pushed them to start getting into to art, you know? And when it comes to NFT, why I said it's both, like there's so much different type of NFTs. They're not only the animated type of NFTs, you know, like I said, I watch a lot of, there's a platform I look at all the time called Solana, which is also big in the NFT space. And they got this section with one-of-one art, and it's art like the art behind me, the art behind you, that's being sold as NFTs as well. You know, because like I'm saying, like this metaverse is so big, people are buying art to put in their real estate home, their home that they're buying on the metaverse. You know, it sounds crazy, but it's a real thing that's going on. You know, that's why I say it's both. I can't say it's doesn't mean anything, but it means like it's subjective. So everyone finds a meaning from out of it.
Got it. No, that makes sense. That makes sense because again, you know, being a part of the art scene, the art world, going to Basel, Switzerland to be a part of Art Basel, and you know, seeing very fine art, you know, or you know, different types of art because people, you know, they like what they like, right? You know, and to see that conversation that you had with your friend, like once they saw the animation of it, they're like, wow, okay, I can get down with that. And I think that's the beauty of NFTs, because at the lowest podium was the graphic artist, you know, for any type of artist. Now the graphics artist is like the highest podium in the art scene with NFT, because now their skill set is what's driving what's happening in the NFT world. And I want to go back to that Neff said. He was saying that you have to have a community, and you have to have certain key people, you know, to help you with your connectivity and what you're trying to do, like your roadmap. So the question that I have, like, who are those people that you guys believe that you need to have to help you, you know, solidify and push out your roadmap? I know, Pierre, you said you're working on it. You know, you have somebody who used to work with Gary V. Now he's helping you. So is he just the only person? And what's his role? What's his title? And what other pieces that you need to help you once you push it out, you know, that it will get to the right community and then hopefully, you know, be lucrative for you?
Well, to be honest, to answer that question, when it comes to, so my friend, he's helping me, so I don't need to get help anymore, because it's once I understand it, but once I put something into Web3, I got it. You understand that? Did that make sense? So the only people that you really need as an artist, an NFT artist, is, like we said earlier, is a community. You know, it's just like being in these spaces, Twitter spaces, conversing with people on Twitter, to get people to know you, because that's how you build. That's how you get your name out there. Because, like I said, if I don't have 0 followers, right? And I'm not saying you don't need to have an ample amount of followers. You could probably have 20 followers the most, you know? But as long as you're communicating with people, they know who you are. It's a familiar name that they see all the time on their timelines. That's who you need, because that's how you build your community. That's how you get your name out there, because you can have the most amazing image in the world, but if you're not talking to no one, you're not conversing with anybody, it doesn't mean nothing. It's just another image put on Web3, and no one would know it, because you're not conversing with no one, and you're not joining any communities as well. And you could create a community, but you also got to join communities as well. You know, support other NFT artists as well.
I also think, to add on to that, I would say, as an artist, for an artist coming into the space, you also want to showcase or let people know of your previous work. So you don't look like you're coming in for a cash grab. A lot of people who are coming in and not, you know, the Twitter is, so if you're new to Twitter and people look on your Twitter, started, you know, last month, and then you're over here telling people, well, I'm about to start selling you art. And people are like, well, you just started your Twitter and I don't see anything on Instagram, like you haven't been showcasing your art, so this is probably not a passion of yours, then people are not going to take you seriously. So
Yeah.
it's something that you have a backstory to as an artist. You create a story going back. A lot of like Beeple has been doing his art for what, a decade? And when his piece sold for it's the highest selling NFT ever. Was it 66 million? Yeah, I mean, this man has been sitting in his basement doing what he loves to do, whether you pay him or whether you don't. People need to relate. They need to know that you're going to be here. This is something you're going to continue doing, whether it's on the blockchain and whether it's not. So that's one thing I wanted to add.
Yeah. Just to piggyback on what you said, you have to be authentic as well, because like the Twitterverse, they sense it when it's just a cash grab. They know it. They're like, oh, this person just want to get money. That's all. It's nothing about it. It's just a money thing for this person. So definitely what you said, Brenda, it's definitely correct. You have to be authentic, 100%, because they sense it, even though
people
we're
can
not
sense
close.
It. Yeah. And there are some people who have been successful in Web 2 and they have a lot of money and they're like, I'm just going to go in and do this and then, market myself well. But to be honest with you, some of those projects are not selling out. As much marketing as they do, a lot of those projects are not selling out because people are like, well, we've never seen any kind. I know you got what it takes, but how will you be here 10 years later? Like, are you going to be talking the talk and walking the walk, or you just here for, okay, it's gold rush season, so I'm here to make money and go.
Yeah.
I love that that you guys talked about that, because that's really, really important. That's why for me as an organization, we're like, okay, this is what we do anyway. We like to give artists an opportunity. And I was like, wow, this would be so great, because when you look at the numbers of artists who are not of color, and you look at the Black, brown artists, they always sell, but it's always so much lower. I'm like, you paid X amount of this, and when you look at a Black, brown artist, like, again, art is subjective, and you're like, wow, this artist could have made 10 times more, but people are not willing to pay for it. So I think this is definitely leveling the playing field. And we are definitely out of time. I think Addonis is actually here. So we're going to actually close out with your parting words, like what you guys would like to leave the audience with one word. And of course, tell them how they can find you. I guess with your Twitter handle, your Instagram, your TikTok, whatever you have, but one word or something that you want to leave our Black, brown audience and all of our audience in reference to NFT Noir. Go ahead. I guess we can let Addonis go since you came in at the tail end. Go ahead, Addonis.
Is my mic, is it on or is?
Yeah, you're on. We can hear you.
All right. First of all, my apologies. They were shooting a documentary of the bank. I've been tied up with that for most of the. They promised to let me go, but things happen. And forgive me, Eveline. Forgive me, the cast, this distinguished cast. What I want to say about the NFTs, I want people to look at it as real estate, Black real estate. I don't want you to, and I'm speaking to the audience here because we were, you guys know what you're doing, but I want them to understand how important it is about longevity. Longevity is, with the blockchain, also with, NFTs, what they actually mean is ownership. Look at it again as real estate. Look at it as you actually connecting with copyright, ownership, and all that. We're talking about forever if you do it right. It does not matter how much you buy now. There's people buying small NFTs that are keeping them for 10, 15, 20 years and turn around and sell them. You don't know what's going to pop. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know. It could be a person right now you may say, oh, it's a goofy NFT. Guess what? That goofball NFT in 2 years could be worth, one of them could be worth more, $2.3 million. You never know. You don't know what God's going to do. I suggest that we get to it We take it serious. It is currency. It is real estate. It's important. And also it should be implemented in everyone's lives. And I just heard from a guy from the county day before yesterday. He said, Addonis, they're going to start, cryptocurrency is going to start, they're going to start using that for the county for paying bills. So we have to be fluent. We have to be educated. Especially we're artists. There's so many creatives out there that can, with so many mediums, we can make a profit. We can make money while we're asleep. The metaverse is not our enemy, it's our friend, but we have to make sure that we build the right relationship with that online stuff and make sure and again, I'll tell this I tell this 1,000 times. There's a guy now, white dude, he has $1.5 million locked in the metaverse because he forgot his password. We cannot get like that. I know that sounds crazy. That guy has to eat. So as far as NFTs, it's the future. I'll be 50 this year. Check this out. I feel like a young man. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to tell you something in my conclusion. A guy walked into my studio about 15 years ago and said, Addonis, I want to introduce you. I want you to buy stock. I said, buy stock for what? He said, it's a new phone coming out. You have, you can record on there. You'll be able to store music and everything. And I said, what's the phone? He said, I think it's going to be the Me phone. Listen, that guy now, he's living in a mansion. He bought one of my paintings, and at the time, he was working for FPL. He actually came to cut my lights out. But the phone he was talking about buying stock was the iPhone. Wow. If I was smart enough, or I should have, and I love to, sometimes take a risk. I should have took that risk. This guy lives in a mansion right now. You know what I mean? Okay. It does, okay, I'm gonna be quiet, but listen.
Yeah, one, because we gotta go. We're over time, but go ahead. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry
for
about that.
Giving us that one word in reference to that.
I'm sorry,
we need to jump in, heads first, but knowing and understanding the space and not be afraid. Okay, Crypto Mom.
I was actually enjoying Addonis Parker's conversation. I was like, okay, why you came so late? You have such valuable information. Okay.
Yes.
Find me on Twitter, Miss Crypto Mom 1, and I have a documentary airing on March 17th with CBS News. It's going to be about the metaverse. They selected 3 projects, Decentraland being the biggest project, and they followed a young 15-year-old in Miami at Art Basel, and then they wanted a family. So my daughters are involved in the space, and they followed us to San Antonio, So yeah, look out for that on CBS, and Miss Crypto Mom again. And there's so many impersonators. Anybody in your DMs is not me. I'm never in anybody's DMs.
Okay, you guys hear that? I'm glad I got the right Crypto Mom.
I know, right?
All right, Pierre, go ahead, wrap us up.
When it comes to NFTs, I guess the one word was 2 words. I would say, 3 words: breaking generational curses. One,
got it.
And I have a Twitter. If I visualize masterpieces, my Instagram, pstudios_, and you can find me. I'm not active all the way on my Twitter, but I'm getting more active now. I really am.
Yes.
I'm more active on Instagram, but I converse on both. Okay.
Got it.
Thank you again, Eveline.
Yeah, Miss Eve, are you able to send everybody's contact on email so we can have it? I didn't get everybody.
Yes,
I was just gonna say that.
I would definitely do that. My phone is blowing up. I gotta go, but
thank you for the invite.
So much. This was so good. We gotta do it again. I think I want to do one for Women's History Month with all women. But Pierre and Adonis, we'll
kicking us out. Just kicking us out.
Listen, and I promise I won't be late.
Amazing. I thank you guys so much. Zach had to go, so he sends his apology. He had to go, and I have to go now. Okay. But I thank you guys, and I want to thank everybody for participating and supporting the Haitian Heritage Museum, as we wanted to do something very innovative for Black History Month, because again, this space, like I said, we're always linked to the party. And I think we need to get the party started because, again, this is, Pierre said it so eloquently, is breaking generational curses. I think that was so powerful because at the end of the day, this is what we need to do. for our community, and not just for us, but for our community. Thank you guys so much. And people are signing in right now, but we're going to sign off. So
Okay.
of course, thank you for participating in Arts Innovation Talk Series. And it was sponsored by the State of Florida Cultural Arts Department and the Florida History Preservation Network. So again, we thank you guys for your sponsorship. We look forward to working with you guys in the future. And I will be sending out everybody's information from their Twitter, their Instagram, and their email. And I will pass along to the panelists and of all the people that participate. And if your question was not answered during the time, we will definitely send the questions out to the panelists, and then they will send their answers. So thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful day.